Hello everyone, it's me, it's Clayton, and I just got finished watching The Great Wall. And despite the controversies that were centering around this film, when you look at the film as a whole, it's basically just a cheesy monster movie with a huge amount of great Chinese actors, tons of awesome special effects, but a story that's ultimately very thin and is really just an excuse for the action scenes and the cool special effects. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story is about two European mercenaries, played by Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal, who are captured by the Chinese army after they've been searching around China for black powder, and they get themselves involved in a conflict involving the Chinese army trying to protect their country and the entire world by extension from these reptilian monsters named Tao Tais. And that's essentially it. The whole movie is unapologetically just a huge 80s to 90s style monster film with some awesome special effects, great costumes, and almost every single great Chinese actor you can imagine. So, the critics have been lambasting this film to near death, and honestly, even though I can see their criticisms a little bit, I still found this to be a pretty entertaining film. Now, bear in mind, this is a very, very silly film. Every, as everything from the costumes to the creature designs to the dialogue is incredibly over the top, and most of the characters are very two-dimensional, with really only the great actors who portray them giving them any sort of, inherent likability. It's not that the characters are written well, it's more that just the actors who portray them. Matt Damon has natural charisma, and Pedro Pascal can be pretty funny at times. And heck, even Willem Dafoe's character manages to get some interesting moments. But most of the Chinese actors completely steal the show, especially this one female commander who I heard her actress is going to be in Kong Skull Island. It'll be interesting to see her there. And in Pacific Rim 2 as well. But anyways, when it comes to the story of this film, it is very simplistic, and in a similar fashion to, let's just say, the Mad Max movies, the story is really secondary, and it's really there just to service the action. But then it's very good that the action scenes are very thrilling and very well shot. I mean, the cinematography throughout this film is absolutely gorgeous. Whether it's the sweeping camera shots of battlefields, to the shots of the Great Wall, to the shots of just showing every individual member of the army in their rather well designed armor sets. I can almost imagine some of the Chinese soldiers getting cosplayed later on. And the action, while it isn't the best form of it isn't the best form of medieval action that I've seen in my life, it still looks very impressive considering the good CGI used for the creatures, the different kinds of weapons they use, and the fact that there's a lot of deaths on both sides that really ratchet up the stakes for the conflict. There are a few problems I had with the movie, mainly the main one is that some of the dialogue gets rather repetitive. Now, when it comes to this movie, since a lot of the lines that Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal have to be translated for the Chinese generals, sometimes a certain line is said first in English and then next in Chinese by a translator. It's okay when it happens for the first few times, but when it happens throughout the entire movie, you're just going to end up saying, "We get it. How can you please speed up the dialogue so you can get to the action?" There are a few long lulls without a lot of great action set pieces, and honestly, it does show how two-dimensional and utterly forgettable most of the characters are. But like I said, when it gets to the action and when it gets to the high-speed, awesome, explosive action moments, it is a pretty fun film to watch. So I think of this film in the same way that I think of most of the Godzilla films, or the way I see Waterworld. I see it as a guilty pleasure, a film that but technically isn't good, but you can admire it for the size and the scale of the production, as well as for just how much heart and soul obviously went into it. Because this film obviously had a huge amount of money put into it, and obviously had a lot of great people both on the camera and off the camera. So even though the film is pretty forgettable as a story, you can at least admire it for all of its ambitions. That's why I give The Great Wall a 7.5 out of 10. If you want to watch it, you can admire it more for what it brought to the screen rather than the story that's there. But hey, at least you get a pretty fun action movie out of it. See you next time.